quick. Looking at what the Lakers received, they get Luka Doncic, Max Kleba, Markieff Morris. The Dallas Mavericks get Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and the Lakers 2029 first-round pick, which is a good pickup. The Jazz helped facilitate the trade, taking on Jalen Hood-Schifino and the 2025 Clippers and Mavericks second-round pick. Where do I start on this? I'm going to go look at the Dallas Mavericks. I do not understand this trade from their perspective. Having a person like Luka Doncic, who is 25 years old, probably top 5, if you want to argue top 5 in the league on any given night, dragging this franchise to the Western Conference Finals, dragging this team to the finals, obviously with Kyrie Irving and having help, et cetera, whatever the case may be. But to trade your 25-year-old perennial all-star trajectory Hall of Famer, first ballot, no question, to do that is irresponsible. And I understand, I saw the reports from Tim McMahon, who I listened to on the Hoop Collective and stuff like that, basically saying that the Mavericks were frustrated with Luka Doncic's conditioning, reporting that he gained up until 270 pounds. Well, Luka Doncic has missed the last 19 games for the Dallas Mavericks, obviously with that calf injury, getting hurt on Christmas. And from my understanding, this guy has been around the team. It has been injured and hasn't been able to stay in basketball shape because he's not able to resume basketball activities. He's supposed to return at some point. But to sit there and try to make this look like a slash job on Luka Doncic, saying he's out of shape, he's not conditioned, he doesn't play defense, and that's why you made the trade for Anthony Davis, I just can't fathom that. A person that Luka Doncic, who was defeating teams that he wasn't supposed to, dragging his team to Game 7s against the Clippers in the bubble and other seasons, having that fantastic series against the Suns a couple years ago, getting to the NBA Finals last year with Kyrie, and to just say there and say, hey, that guy's out of shape, so we're not going to keep him. I just don't believe that. That just doesn't make any sense on any level. Any level. As a franchise, as an organization, and looking at Luka Doncic, who's getting 28 points, 8.3 rebounds, and 7.8 assists on season, to trade that away and say he's out of shape. And that's not going to help here in the long term of the Dallas Mavericks franchise, when he actually revitalized your franchise, when you guys had no pathway after Dirk. 7 seasons, he was 3rd in MVP voting last year, and you're worried about him now being in shape. Maybe that's something that could have been helped over time, and maybe say, hey, we can get this guy back into weight, 240, 230, whatever the case may be, and help him get back into better shape. As an organization, that would be my first move over anything else. The reason why I don't believe the injury ploy and he's out of shape and doesn't play defense is because I'm like, you guys just don't want to pay this guy the supermax. You guys are afraid of that second apron. That's all this is. And now that you guys make a better trade than the Minnesota Timberwolves and Julius Randle and Karl Anthony Towns trade, absolutely. Anthony Davis is a better player. I just can't understand why you guys would give up Luka Doncic, who's 25 years old. It just doesn't make any sense on face value. Now, I understand how it works out for you guys. You guys get Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis was having rumblings with the Lakers organization about getting a center that can help him so he can naturally play the floor. And especially in that 30-minute interview with Chance where he said that, I think he's best at the 5. The only 5 that's killing him in the Western Conference was Nikola Jokic. That's the only 5 that's killing Anthony Davis in the NBA playoffs. Everybody else, Anthony Davis is destroying them. And he has been doing that all season, obviously an all-star, making his case this year. So for that standpoint, I understand it from the Lakers standpoint. I'll get into that in a moment. The Mavericks in the short term, they have depth at every position. They add Max Christie, who's a good solid guard on a low contract. Makes sense. Obviously, this is a money-saving move to me in my eyes. Because if Mark Cuban was still majority owner of the Dallas Mavericks, he's not anymore. So there's a major stake a couple of years ago, 2023. I don't think this trade would have happened. I don't see how that happens in any capacity. If he's in charge of the Dallas Mavericks, how that happens. Now, Nico Harris, the general manager for the Dallas Mavericks, came out and said, hey, defense wins championships. We made this trade because we felt like we had to. I truly believe they are just afraid of that second apron tax, because there's no way that you trade Luka Doncic. It doesn't make any sense. You try to add in surplus to Luka Doncic, what they have done to the Mavericks. I thought they had a fantastic offseason. bringing in guys that can help that roster tremendously, especially heading into the playoffs. Now they have injuries with Kyrie and Luka heading into the playoffs. I understand that. But once you get there, the Mavericks are going to be favored in a lot of series. If they go up against Memphis, probably people are going to give them the benefit of the doubt. If they go up against the Rockets, people are probably going to give them the benefit of the doubt. If they go up against the Nuggets, same thing. They can compete in those series. So the turnaround and just trade Luka Doncic, I just don't understand it. Now, in the short term for the Dallas Mavericks, you have a 2 to 3 year old window. Anthony Davis is what, 31 years old? Kyrie Irving's 32 years old. Guys both with history with injury problems, have been better these past couple of years with injuries, staying in shape and being able to be available on the court for their teams. Cool. Now you put that in the vacuum. Now you only have a 2-3 window, whereas with Luka Doncic, you had a 5-10 year window with his play and what you can do. So the Mavericks are on the clock. And Nico Harrison said in time, this will tell if I'm right. So he's not even confident in the trade. He's not even coming out and saying, hey, this will give us the best chance to win. This puts it in the prime position. We got a better chance of winning than anybody else in the league. He did not say that at his press conference. And Jason Kidd, the head coach, was right next to him pissed. There's no other way of looking at that. He did not look happy with the trade once it was announced to the general public and the media that the press conference that they had. He did not look happy. There's no way to hide your disappointment with your franchise giving up on a 25-year-old guy who was MVP candidate year in, year out, ever since he stepped day one into the league. And you just get rid of that. I just don't understand that from that standpoint. Again, back from the Mavericks. You have depth. You have Lively. You still have Gafford at the front and the backcourt. You have Grimes. You have Kyrie. You have this team that looks pretty damn good overall looking at this roster. I'm going to take a look at it. You have Dante Exum, who's supposed to be coming back. You got Spencer Dinwiddie, Jaden Hardy, who has been playing well, Quentin Grimes, Derek Lively, Dwight Powell. Dwight Powell has just been surviving on the Mavericks, hasn't he? But looking at that, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, PJ Washington, you still have these, and even more maybe potential to make another move. So the Mavericks could not be done here looking to make a different move. But from the Mavericks standpoint, I just don't understand how you trade that guy. Doesn't make sense. Now let's look at this for the Lakers side. There were reports with the Lakers, of course, Anthony Davis saying, hey, I want a center playing next to me. I'm best at the floor. Obviously, the Lakers didn't feel that way because they got underperforming big men like Jackson Hayes and all these other guys that just didn't pan out. Some guys we never even heard of trying to play the 5 next to Anthony Davis. Just not going to pan out. When the Lakers won the championship in the bubble, yes, 2020, LeBron playing point, Anthony Davis at the 5. That was the formula, surrounded by defensive and three-point shooters. They went away from that model directly after they went to the finals and changed up the whole makeup of the team, making it harder for this team to succeed, in my opinion. Fine, whatever. That was a LeBron call, trading for Russell Westbrook. We know the history on that. Looking at this trade, obviously the Lakers reportedly came out and said they were not going to extend Anthony Davis in the summer, which is crazy because Anthony Davis has been playing tremendously for the Los Angeles Lakers, especially the past 2 years. They didn't want to commit big money to him. Okay, so from the Lakers standpoint, I completely understand this trade. You turn around and get Luka Doncic, you get Maxi Kleber, who can, if he can revitalize his career, can make a big move here as well for the Lakers. I think that's a good move, but I think the Lakers are going to be looking to make a trade for another big man. I think that's in the work. They're going to try to find a big man. That's the next thing that they're trying to find. But overall, for the Los Angeles Lakers, looking at the Luka Doncic situation, he gets a head start. He did lose, I think, $116 million in this deal, not being able to get that Supermax, the 5-year, $345 million from the Dallas Mavericks that he would have been offered. So he's going to get around, what, 230, 229 around there. If he's able to sign with the Lakers, most likely sign an extension with the Lakers. So looking at it from that standpoint, the Lakers are sitting there, hey, we got our new rebuild here. He's 25 years old. We got our young star, younger than LeBron, younger than Anthony Davis. Cool, completely understand that. They're already been making moves to go towards the future, not giving up their picks, et cetera, et cetera. To get Luka Doncic, this is a steal for them in that sense. Now, for the LeBron situation, looking at LeBron, I don't know what this does. Maybe there's already been a report saying that he's going to stay there to the end of the season with the Lakers. Even after this Anthony Davis trade, they're saying that he doesn't want to be traded. Cool, whatever. LeBron and Luka, there was reports that LeBron was trying to start his own shoe line, kind of like a Curry deal and XYZ and sign athletes. He wanted Luka Doncic way back when they first happened. So this is kind of a full circle moment for him to be playing with Luka Doncic at this point. Cool. Now, does this mean that LeBron's going to be gone after the season? Cool, whatever. They'll figure it out how they're going to play. Now, these guys are very similar. Obviously, Luka's a little bit better shot creator at this point than LeBron James at this point in his career. Again, I don't think the Lakers are looking at it like, hey, we need to compete this season. This is going to put us over the top. Can they make a little run? Maybe, depending on the additions, if what happens with the big man, if they can add shooting, a playmaking presence. But I just, from the Lakers standpoint, completely understand it. You know you're not going to win the title. You know you're probably not better than OKC. You're probably not better than the Grizzlies. You're probably not better than the Nuggets. Let's try to just make it and get ahead of the rebuild, ahead of the retooling right now. So getting a guy like Luka Doncic makes complete sense. But for the Dallas Mavericks to do this because they didn't want to pay Luka Doncic $345 million, I don't know how you justify that. The only way they justify that is if they win the title. And that's a tall order. Now they have depth, they have everything in place. But if one of these guys, Kyrie Irving or Anthony Davis, gets hurt, I don't see how this is justifiable. They have to win a title in the next 2 to 3 years. They have to. If they don't, then this is catastrophe. This is a catastrophe from tremendous proportions. This is the biggest trade in NBA history. If the Dallas Mavericks do not win a title, this is shocking. This is one of the biggest trades in NBA history, and I can't believe it. I can't believe this trade happened from a Dallas Mavericks standpoint, the Lakers standpoint, how they just continuously get stars. Looking at the Lakers lineage, Kareem, Magic, Kobe, Shaq, LeBron, and now Luka Doncic is now falling into the lap. And they didn't have to give up much. Anthony Davis was on the other side of his career, probably going to on the wrong side of 30. Probably still has a couple more years in his prime, still going to be dominant. No question, he's been one of my favorite players in the league ever since New Orleans. But just to give up on Luka Doncic like that, saying that there's weight problems, saying all this other stuff, saying defense wins championships, when you literally just got to the finals, and pulling the plug on that, everyone can sit there and say, yeah, he's out of shape, XYZ. This is simply about money in a business because they're going to be able to, the Max Christie deal, I think he's only getting $32 million over 4 years. Anthony Davis is going to be able to sign a max deal, but not the super max because he hasn't had 10 years of service with the Dallas Mavericks. So I think that's something that the Dallas Mavericks are looking at. Reportedly, Luka didn't know about the trade. LeBron didn't know about the trade. Anthony Davis didn't know about the trade. So for this to just come out of the depths of the night and be on ESPN, SportsCenter, Shams just writing a tweet out there saying this is not a scam, to see this come to fruition and seeing how it plays out and seeing Nico Harris's comments, seeing Jason Kidd's reaction, this is crazy. This is crazy. This doesn't make any sense, and we'll see where it takes the Los Angeles Lakers. We'll see where it takes the Dallas Mavericks and the Utah Jazz. Danny Ainge facilitating that charity. I just don't know how this helps the Dallas Mavericks long term. They have to win a championship. If they do not win a championship in the next 2 to 3 years, this is one of the worst trades in NBA history from that standpoint. If they do not win a championship.